Walk with me for a few minutes. So yes, 2020 is coming to an end. And I know over the next couple weeks, I hope all of you have an amazing holiday season, a time of joy, a time of giving, a time of family and connection. And also maybe a few moments of reflection, looking back on this year and extracting the lessons that we're going to bring into what I know is going to be a better 2021 for all of you. And just walking this morning thinking about, yes, this year has brought a long list of challenges we're all very familiar with, across so many different levels, with pandemic and politics and social turmoil and the consequences directly and indirectly tied to all of those and more that we face this year. But I also think most of us realize that hidden or wrapped in the challenges or obstacles, there's also been brought a lot of opportunity. Hidden in the problems, there's also been a lot of gifts. Hidden in the struggles, there's also a lot of blessings that can be taken from this year. And one of the things that I think is a maybe blessing in disguise of 2020 is the heightened awareness, focus, maybe intentionality on self-care, or what many call self-love. In other words, the need, and it is a need for all of us, to make sure we take care of us, make sure you take care of you. And that's been tested this year with us having to adapt to limitations and restrictions and new rules. We've had to consciously prioritize you, taking care of you, making sure you are a priority. You can't pour from an empty cup. And I love that this year has raised the level of conversation and consciousness on, again, call it self-care or self-love, or just making you a priority. And we need to. And I think that's a direct reflection of the alternative or the consequences that happen if you don't, right? We got stress at an all-time high this time of the year. In general, times pandemic, you got anxiety at an all-time high. You got all the different feelings, even deeper when it comes to even a depression or a loneliness. And you guys, all of those, yes, they're different things, and they have, a list of different notes that allow you to identify if that's an issue. But at the core of all of that, if we really boil it down to kind of its fundamental, isn't all of it related to how we value ourselves? I think it is. Like, if you stop and step back a little bit and kind of go 30,000 feet, look down, at the end of the day, it comes down to self-valuement. How we're valuing ourselves at this point in time in relation to what's going on. And I want to talk about that today, self-value, because I think it's at the core of so much right now. And I really think so many people, and I'm willing to bet by the end of the conversation, you're going to admit this is true for you, are maybe using the wrong measuring stick on how you attach a value to you. And that measuring stick isn't working right now. That measuring stick is creating a lot of turmoil right now. That measuring stick is creating a lot of stress, anxiety, lack of joy, unneeded pressure, heightening a situation that doesn't need to be heightened right now. And I think we need to make a shift on the measuring stick that maybe we're all using when it comes to how we identify our own value. And I'm willing to bet if we make this one shift can change everything like that. This one shift can help with a lot of the things people are going through this time of the year. And this one shift, I think, is a necessity that we all adopt going into 2021 to make it the year it really can be. So before we get into the conversation on self-value and that measuring stick and the shift we need to make, I'm going to ask, who's by my side this morning? Who's walking with us? Don't be shy. Don't hide behind a screen. Just drop a comment, say hello below. Where you from? How you doing? Tell me one thing you love about the holiday season, something you love about this time of the year. I want to see you. I want to reply to you. If you're new to the crew, welcome. We walk together weekly. Walk with me Wednesdays, if you want to remember that, around the same time, if you want to catch us live. But for those of you on the replay, we love you, and participation adds value. So please comment, chime in, something that resonates, something you love and agree with, something you get value from, an alternative perspective, something you disagree with. I'll take it all, I read it all, and we appreciate it all. And today's conversation together, self-value. So here's what I mean by, I think most of us, and I think most people in the world today, are using the wrong measuring stick. Before I give you what I think it is for you, I want you guys to go internal, ask yourself the question, how really do you measure your value? And I don't want a made-up answer. I want, like, on a day-to-day, your instinctive reaction, your subconscious response when it comes to how you're valuing yourself, how you're stacking yourself up in the world. How do you value your value to yourself? I think too many of us attach our self-value to achievement, to what we accomplish, to the results that we've got, and even more currently, the results that we're getting right now. Now go with me here. I think most of us attach value to achievement. I know I have for most of my life. And to some extent, it served me attaching value to achievement because I always have wanted to prove my value to myself and others. Therefore, it's driven me to achieve in a variety of different areas of my life. So it served me in some ways, and I'm sure it served you in other ways. But I've also come to the realization that constantly tying your value to achievement never leads to an end result of happiness, fulfillment, or you ever reaching your full potential. And it's not our fault, right? I think we've all been conditioned to attach our value to achievement, starting from how we were brought up. I mean, think about it. In school, everything was tied to our grades, to a letter. Are we getting an A? Are we a B? Are we a C student, right? Mom didn't want you playing with the D students. Sorry, D students. Our whole value, our whole identity, our whole self-worth, our whole future projection was all achievement focused. When we get into the workforce and into the career, we start associating our value maybe not to letters, but now numbers. And it's not letters on a report card. Now it's numbers in a bank account. It's the workforce. What's our value to the market? What's our income hourly, our income salary? What are we worth tied to numbers? And after we start getting a base amount of numbers, we tie our value now to things and monetary things. And we associate our value to the things we have, the things we don't have. Am I right or am I wrong here? I want you to go real. I want you to be real with yourself. How many of you are also guilty of attaching your own self-worth time and time again to the achievement you have or the results that you're getting? I'll give you the inverse, right? When we don't get the results that we want or don't achieve the things that we want, how do we feel? So often, if we don't get the results that we expect or that others expect of us, or really when we don't get the results that we think others expect of us, we feel like we have lower value. We feel down. We feel like we're letting ourselves down and others down. The value we put on ourselves when we don't achieve the results we think others expect of us, let alone what we expect of ourselves, we lower our own self-value. This is what I mean by we attach our value constantly, day in and day out, to results or achievement. And today's social media world, where we're constantly seeing everybody's quote-unquote best life, only the highlight reel, constantly all the time, forces us to have that measuring stick in front of us all the time. And it's never ending. Because there's always going to be someone that has something that you don't, someone that's doing something that you aren't, someone that's achieving something that you haven't. Constantly, always. There's always going to be someone at that next step. So there's always a feeling, if you're looking for it, to diminish our own value and the way we feel about ourselves. And I think it's a big consequence of the connection that we have today online. And you guys, I'm here to tell you that attaching our own self-value to achievement is the wrong measuring stick. It's the wrong measuring stick. There will always be more to achieve. There will always be other people ahead. It will never end. And if you're constantly attaching your own self-worth to what you accomplish and the results that you're getting, you are constantly going to be in a place where you're diminishing the value that you really have and that you really can bring. So some of you guys right now are thinking, well, Blake, what if that's not the measuring stick, if it's not achievement and results, right? That's what I've been chasing all my life. Then what is the measuring stick? What do we use to define value in ourselves? I had a conversation with a mentor a little while back, and he opened my eyes to a whole new definition, a whole new measuring stick. And that shift, guys, that one shift changed everything for me on how I approach life, how I approach challenges and obstacles, how I value myself, how I look at my value to others. And I want to give you that shift. And I want you to just pause for a minute and take this in, because if you get this one change, this one shift can change everything, especially 2020 going into 2021. Our self-value is not tied to achievement, right? Who we are is not tied to what we achieve or the results that we get. The level of our value is not just based on what we've accomplished or what we're accomplishing right now. Our value is not based on what we have achieved. Our value is based on what we have overcome. Our value is based on what we have overcome. Now, I want you to think about this for a second. Achievement is fun, winning is fun, results are fun, victories are fun. But do we learn more when we win, or do we learn more when we lose? Do we learn more when everything works out, or do we learn more when we struggle, when we make a mistake, when something doesn't work as intended, when we have to find another way, when we have to figure something out? Do we learn more, right, when all of a sudden we get the perfect result and we're celebrating? Or do we learn more when we're sitting there crawling through the mud, when we feel stuck, when we're going through the shit? What makes us more of who we are? What defines us? Where is character built? What grows strength? What gives perspective? What creates wisdom? More when we achieve or when we overcome? I'm willing to bet, if you reflect on your own life, how many of you have been through the shit? You've crawled through the mud. You've gone through the hell. You've been through the valley. And how many of you can look back in those valleys, in that mud, and say, that is where you grew the most. That's where your character was defined the most. That's where you have really become the person you are today. It's not the achievement that defines us. It's what we overcome that defines us. It's what we overcome that makes us who we are. It's what we overcome that unlocks our potential. It's what we overcome that moves us forward. So guys, the value we tie to ourselves is never based on the results that we get. Results are fleeting. Results are short term. Sometimes everything works, sometimes everything doesn't. That is life. The value that we have for ourselves and the value we take forever is equivalent to what we have overcome along the way. One of my business partners, Brian Underwood, always says you have to overcome to become. And I think that's what he means by that quote. You have to overcome challenges, obstacles, consequences in order to become the person that you're meant to be, become the person you're capable of being, become the person that is your potential. You have to overcome to become. Value is tied to overcoming. That's the measuring stick. That's the measuring stick for your own value to yourself and the value you can bring to others. And the more you overcome, the higher the value you have and the higher pride you should have for yourself and the higher confidence and pride you should give to others. Because the more you overcome, the more you can help other people overcome. You got to go through the valley to lead others through the valley. You got to dig through the shit to lead other people through the shit. That's how this works. I don't follow people that have never fallen down. I don't follow people that have never taken a hit. I don't follow people that have won everything. Because at the end of the day, life doesn't work that way forever. I follow people that I know have been knocked down and got back up, that have been through the valley and got back up. They constantly get knocked down and constantly get back up. Those are the people that I follow. Those are the people that have value. And I share all of this with you because I know this past year, there's been a lot to overcome. You have overcome a lot. And at some point between now through the new year, I want you to look back and look at how much you have overcome this year. Everything you have been through, the mud you have swam through. And I want you to realize that all of that, guys, that's not negative. That's not catastrophe. That's not things to be depressed or ashamed about. That is what's making you who you are and who you're meant to be. That is the foundation that's going to allow you to go forward. Your value has increased in 2020 because of what you have overcome in 2020. I saw a fun meme on social media the other day. It was a little cocoon, and under it said 2020, and then it was this big, beautiful butterfly, and under it said 2021. And I thought it was a perfect visual, because this year has been a cocoon for so many people. You've been going to the gym that you weren't even aware of. You've been in school every day you didn't even know you were attending. Every day you've been getting better because of what you've been overcoming. You've been in the cocoon. And I think 2021 is going to be the year you break free and become that butterfly, not because of what 2021 brings, but because of what you overcame in 2020 to make you who you are. So I challenge all of you guys, hey, you have value. Value yourself. Value yourself, but don't value yourself based on what you're achieving right now, based on the numbers in a bank account, based on the results on the scoreboard. All right, that's all over the place due to things within and without your control. But that doesn't determine your value. What determines your value is what you constantly overcome. And if you take that perspective, you'll welcome the challenge, right, to grow. You'll welcome the obstacle to get better, because you got to overcome to become. And I know so many of us are going through that right now. And I believe in you. I know you're getting through it. I know you're better because of it. And I know the future is bright for all of you because of what you are overcoming, right, over 2020. One last view from the top. Clouds are clearing. With that, guys, hey, I appreciate our time. I thank you for all of you that plug in. If there's someone that came to your mind or your heart, someone that's overcoming right now and you want to give them an acknowledgement, tag them in the comments below. Share this message. So many people need to change their measuring stick on how we value ourselves, and that one little shift can change everything. Challenge you to adopt it. I challenge you to share it, and make sure you let people know that, hey, this year, everything they've gone through, it's making them who they're meant to be. They're better because of it. Hope everybody stays safe and stays healthy. I wish you the best this holiday season into the new year, and I hope all of you really choose to adopt this new measure of value going forward. And if you do, I know you're going to feel better. I know you're going to do better. And I know the world is going to see the best of you. Take care, everybody. Until next time.